Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock podcast. Today we'll be talking about England. That went well. Junior Firpo, Brazilian left back. What else has happened? Lewis Bate, not Ken Bates, but he's still from Chelsea.
Yeah,
he's having a medical and something else. Oh,
keeper.
A new kit.
New kit. We've got a new keeper.
Bielsa's birthday.
Right. Yep.
Marcelo Bielsa's birthday. Most important bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll try and not bring up cannibalism, which we were talking about for the last 15 minutes off air while we waited for Ewan to get his stuff together. So, hello and welcome back. It's good to be back. I've been a little bit ill, but I'm feeling a little bit better now. My name's Adonis, and you know me as @TheAdelites on Twitter. It's a very good hello from me. Joining us to discuss all of that and much more is Rob, @JuicyRob.
How we doing?
Sam, the Warden of the North.
Good evening, everybody.
And the Prince of Darkness, Machiavelli himself, Ewan Metcalf.
Yes, I'm here. Literally was in darkness there, internet-wise. Sorry, I'm here now.
No problems at all. Okay, let's start off with England then. Pretty good. 7 matches played, 5 wins, 2 draws, 2 goals conceded, basically scrambling the box and a peach of a free kick that should never have been given in the first place. What a tournament.
Yeah, better than expected. I think we all spoke about it before the tournament and we were all saying quarters at the best and if we were lucky a semi, but not particularly flattered by the way they play. It's not exciting, but listen, nearly did the job, didn't it? And if it had, nobody would have complained about how we played. Tragedy how it ended, but yeah, all in all, pretty positive. Seeing KP in an England kit running things is always nice. And you started to feel like you're doing every tournament. You got behind them a bit more and started to want them to do well and will for them a bit more. So all in all, can't complain.
Makes a big difference when you've got a Leeds-born lad playing for England, doesn't it? The interest peaks up.
Yeah, it was just being like a proud dad most of the time watching KP, wasn't it? It was brilliant, and you just didn't want him to fuck up, or you certainly didn't want to take a penalty in that final, did you? But no, look, as the tournament grew on, I got more and more into it. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't inspired by Southgate. Didn't particularly have that many good things to say. I know he's such a great guy, but tactics-wise, maybe not the best for me. But we're so used to seeing Bielsa ball that it was maybe just a different a change that we needed to get used to. And as the tournament grew on, I'm not going to lie, I was bang into it by the end, and I absolutely loved it. And it was a great way to spend the summer outside watching the games in the pub, seeing mates again. Good excuse to go to the pub and socialise. And yeah, I just enjoyed that aspect of it as much as I did the football. But yeah, I got back into it, and I'm not going to lie, I was pretty wounded after the final whistle. It took me a couple of days to not be so wounded. But yeah, look, I'm so proud, and like you said, I never expected to get that far at all. And the pragmatic sort of way we play, it got us results. So what can we say? It nearly did the job. But yeah, we're just used to that sort of sinking, losing feeling, being a Leeds fan, aren't we? Bottling it in the big occasion. But no, look, I loved it. And, proud, just proud of Calvin. He's done Yorkshire proud. And yeah, proud of a really good group of lads as well that the England team are. A good young professional group of lads that did the country proud. So yeah, no, I was really pleased with it.
For the benefit of anybody listening on the podcast, because I'll be putting this out again. Rob, Rob looks like he's had a bit of a Phil Foden inspired haircut. Maybe it's Alioski. So, Rob, you enjoyed the Euros as well, I'm guessing.
Pretty too much. No, it was good fun. The bet was actually that I didn't think we'd get to the final. So just like Ewan and Sam said there, I thought we'd get quarters, semis at best. And actually the bet was if we made the final, I'd have to get the daft haircut. So we made the final and the boys did a good job. You know what I mean? Like I agree with everything that's already been said. It was lovely to see fans back in stadiums. Great to see the country opening up through as the tournament progressed. So as each win came under the belt, it was nice to be able to go and see people, see friends, see family, see people that you might even know just from a footballing capacity that you haven't seen for a long time. So that was really special. And yeah, a good set of results. We did better than expected. And I don't think we can be too... Obviously, at the time, you're devastated with the manner of which it ended with the penalty misses. But I don't think you could be upset with the overall results and progression that Southgate made. But like everybody else, going into the tournament, I was sceptical. I was sceptical about team selection. I was sceptical about formations, tactics. And he made me a tiny bit of a believer. I think we do give him a chance at Qatar. And then we see where we go from there and what progression's needed. Because it's a cracking squad of players, isn't it? It's a really impressive squad. And lovely to see Calvin doing his thing from a Leeds perspective.
A few comments then. Lee Smith. Oh, hi. G'day, Lee. Teleturn Monkey. Hello. Hey up. Finally, good to see you guys. Nora. Hello, Nora. And she'll be moderating the chat if you're on YouTube. Kieran says, God's birthday. Colin Brooks. Evening from Frinton-on-Sea in Essex.
Nice.
Very nice.
Oh, geezer.
Yeah.
Happy Bielsa Day, people. Of course, it's Marcelo's birthday today. Felt a bit weird watching Calvin in the striker position, says Lee. I thought he did well.
Yeah, it was seeing Harry Kane drop back deeper than Calvin and Rice a couple of times as well. What's your number 9 doing in your own 18-yard line?
Total football. There you go. You know what I was going to say on that as well? I think I forgot. When we were talking about before the tournament, I'm just thinking selfishly about me and my perception of England, all the times I've been let down. I have to live it through my children now, and it's heartbreaking. So, like when we beat Denmark, Luca was on the floor, like literally on his knees, like tears in his eyes, welling up because we'd done that beautiful thing of doing what normally happens to England, scoring like an extra time winner, getting a penalty, and he was absolutely like tears of joy. And I thought, oh my God, it's got another emotional context now. It's not just me and my steely heart thinking, oh, well. And then, of course, when we got beat, I was in a pub I think I've told somebody this, I was in a pub in Liverpool, middle of Liverpool, surrounded by Everton fans. And he was ringing me on WhatsApp quite a lot. And of course, when they got beat, he rung me and he couldn't even speak. His little face, tears streaming down his eyes. He's only 12, but he takes his football very seriously. And he was crying his eyes out, and all these Everton fans like, "Oh, look, he's crying, the little lad, like he's fucking crying."
That's a good accent, that.
Yeah, so I've been there. I was so drunk. That's how I was talking for about 2 hours, just like, into the spirit of it, literally. And so I get to the phone, and I'm sort of talking. These lads had been really talking and getting on with really well. Family, like a dad and two sons. Oh, that's what a shame! Like, so they were singing. We all ate Leeds scum before when he was ringing, just as a joke. Like, and then when they saw him crying, I got the whole pub of Everton fans, about 20 of them, singing "Marching On Together" to my little boy. So that was
nice.
Every cloud and that. It was quite an amusing thing to see loads of Everton fans singing "Marching On Together" for my little lad, and his little smiling face, thinking, "My dad's an idiot again."
I'm surprised they know the words.
Hey mate, they do. They love a bit of Leeds. They were on about Rafinha and Bielsa, and I think Everton fans are really sound out of this. So they were
they are.
Sound out, the fucking sound out. But yeah, they were great lads and had a great time. And like I say, just a shame about the end result. But all in all, the last thing I wanted to say was I didn't think we deserved to win. I didn't think we played great in the final. I thought Italy were better. I thought they controlled the ball, the tempo. We didn't. Yes, we that lucky goal that they got, if they hadn't have scored, I think we could have won it 1-0, which is what we said right at the start, wasn't it? We might just beat everybody 1-0, and if we win a tournament on that, great. If we upset the Denmarks and Kasper Schmeichel, brilliant. If we've gone through and ruined and upset loads of people, which is great. I think the saddest thing is how it ended with the racism thing, and how do we always manage to do it, all that celebration, and we get to a final and we manage to mess it up, and
do you know what though? I think that united the country again in a sort of funny way. The backlash of sort of warmth and praise. I don't remember that with obviously Southgate wasn't racially abused, but in the past we've been burning effigies of Beckham and all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in a way, it was kind of the best thing that could have happened. Even though you never want to see it, just because of the response to it.
Yeah.
Just a couple more comments then. Just saying hello. So Derek Moore, up, my fellow Peacockians.
Yes,
John Bailey.
Derek. All right, Derek.
All right, lads. John Bailey, Tom Walton. I thought all our players did well. I thought Click was class for Poland. And Teletone Monkey should have had a just giving whip round for the lad. And White Peacock Andy thought Rodrigo had a good tournament. Oh, wait.
He's read my motivation straight away there.
Of course, we've been away, so we missed a lot of that. I mean, that just giving for that little German girl. I mean, it.
Yeah, I mean, we did the match review, didn't we, afterwards, and there wasn't a thing then. But come on.
Oh yeah.
I think I did mention laughing quite loudly, to be honest, when it first happened to that poor girl crying. But only in a kind of, we've owed the Germans one for a long time, and like a lot of people said, if you're going to be a football supporter, a true football supporter, you better get used to a lot of misery, especially if you support Leeds in England. Not at the moment, of course, not at the moment. We're flying and everything's good, but we've had plenty of years of it, haven't we?
Yeah.
1996. I was where that little girl was.
Yeah, exactly.
And again in the playoff semi-final against Derby. So let's move on to Leeds then.
Let's.
It's been a interesting summer so far. I think the sort of the big Kev thing put a bit of a dampener on things. I think we might have been looking to invest more heavily, I would say, or at least spend another 20 million. But Lewis Bate looks decent. He's having a medical as we speak. There's a Norwegian young goalkeeper. I guess that falls under the remit of under 23s, Rob.
Yeah, in theory, but he is designed to come in as the backup for Melee, isn't he? But I think what he'll probably do is he'll get some time in PL2 Division 1 and he'll rotate Capriel and him, depending on how far we get in the Cups. But I think he's coming in to be backup in the first 11. But, it depends how the fixtures fall this year. If they continue to play on a Monday, depending on when we play, he might see some game time in the under 23s, the Norwegian keeper.
And of course, being raided by Norwich and Burnley year upon year, it's been a nice change to raid Barcelona for a change, who are in a terrible state, massive amounts of debt, and having to reduce their wage bill in order to sign the players that they already have done, or register them, should I say. But let's start off with the kit then. So new kit released today. First thoughts, Sam?
It's a white kit, isn't it? Yeah, you can't do much with it. It's similar to one you're wearing now with the buttons. Is that one got buttons? It has, hasn't it?
This I wore this deliberately because quite a nice trim, I'd say. Yellow and blue. You got the LUFC letter in there. There's also something really nice from those kits in the 90s was this kind of hologram type effect. I don't know how well you can see it.
I think the difference is, though, Donny, like commercialism in football has advanced so much since that beautiful kit that you're wearing was made. What you're missing is the massive logos on the sleeves. And we seem to have gone with Box, who are the boiler company, aren't they? And fair play, they're pumping money into the club, so I'm not going to sit and slander a sponsor, but it's an awful logo to put on a white shirt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I doing too much of a reach here? We're boiling piss, aren't we?
Oh.
The piss yellow and the boiler.
Yeah.
You see, even on the website, their logo though dominates the bottom section. You see, JD's now got this tiny little circle, and the big Box logo's just gone smash right in the middle.
Yeah. But I just think for me that yellow, I've never been a fan of that highlighter sort of yellow. It's not the Leeds yellow. I don't know why they insist on using that sort of yellow. They've done it for years now, haven't they? With especially with the away kits. The one with the blackened highlighter pen one comes to mind, and there's a couple of others that have just used that instead of that traditional yellow, and maybe mix it up on the sleeve with the yellow and blue stripes. That would be nice. But it's probably not something I'm going to get, but. If they create good memories in it and we smash a load of teams at home, then buzzing. You got some good memories for it. But it's a white shirt. You can't do too much with it, can you? Really?
Ewan?
Listen, just miss me out.
It's cool, isn't it?
You know what's going to happen. I'm the most miserable man going when it comes to football. Well, in lots of respects, but when it comes to kits, I just don't get it. They're not made for me. I've said it before. I don't buy kit. I don't buy tops. I've never bought a top. I don't think. I was tempted to buy the green and blue stripe one from this season. I thought it was mint. I thought it was the first one they've got right for quite a long time. The centenary blue kit I thought was lovely. There's odd kits that come along that I think are brilliant. But let's be frank. For me personally, it's 1 in 10 kits that looks. I mean, the second kit, that blue one that's rumored to be correct, looks brilliant. So I just think why the fluorescent yellow stripes? Why? Why can't it just be a plain white kit? Rob's already said it. Commercialism is massive in football now. It's almost ruined it. It'll eat itself eventually. And just the logos don't help. I'd rather have one with no logos on it, to be frank. But just better off not asking me, mate, because that one. If they bring that fucking lilac thing out, believe me,
God,
I will buy a shirt just to burn it in my fucking back garden.
One less shirt on the
fucking lilac. What? Nobody looks good in lilac. Not even Vivienne Westwood looks good in lilac.
Prince, it's not deep enough, is it?
No. Not for me. But Angus Kinnear don't care. I won't buy one anyway, so he probably thinks, sod you. He probably just does it to wind me up.
He'll be having a sleepless night tonight, Ewan.
That Parma Violet one will sell as well. That's the tragedy. He'll do numbers.
You know what? It is the point, Rob. Exactly. You've asked me my opinion. Girls will buy that. I'm not being judgmental, but like the pink and grey kit, which is one of the best-selling kits we've had in, I think, ever. That kit will sell out to all the girl footballers. My lads play for a team up where there's on a Saturday morning there's 20, 30 teams training up there, and there's a lot of girls, women's teams, and that'll be all over the place, mate. So exactly. Yeah.
Nora's had her eye on that lilac kit. Rob, then finally.
Yeah, everyone said it. I'm not a fan of the kit, mate. I think it's just not. There's loads of more crosses than ticks. The yellow is the wrong colour yellow. Sam said it. I think the logo on the sponsor is just wrong. That logo will look all right on the blue one. On the blue kit, that kind of big squared blocked thing will look all right on the blue kit, but on a white kit, it just dominates it. I was lucky with the home kit last year because they made an error, didn't they? Which I don't think they're going to replicate this year. They released quite a few without the JD logo. Which side is on that side? The home kit, and then they reissued them with the shirt sponsor because it took ages for them to sign the sponsorship. And I kind of wish they'd do that with this one. Hopefully, if we order one tomorrow, we don't get the box logo on the sleeve.
You could probably get. You could probably get one from China without a box T
fraction of the price.
logo on. Sorry for laughing there. I just read a comment from Nora. I'm going to get Ewan a full kit for his birthday. There you go.
You'd put it off well, mate.
I don't know, Lilac. Listen, if I can pull that off, man, I'm going back into my male modelling career. That's coming back out.
It's a thought though. With kits, is there a way? Because if they could release a junior and kids kits in these kind of colours, and they're not linked to the main. They have a training kit, which obviously they release. If they could do something like that for the kids and for alternative kits, like specialized kits, that would be quite good. But I don't know how commercially that sits.
Well, I think the kids, Rob, they want the kit that the team wear. That's the thing.
True.
My kids they're like, I want that kit. I want the kit that Bamford's wearing.
Their idols playing. Yeah, you're right.
Rafinha plays in exactly. So they wouldn't stand for it. And it's, I kind of get, and like I say, I think that, again, it's past me. I was never a buyer I buy shorts and socks to play five-a-side in. I very rarely buy a top ever, even when I was a young man. So particularly now, I mean, they're so bloody skin tight. I don't think I'd get away with it.
And you might be maybe because I don't have kids, but have they don't they sponsor differently the kids' kits? Is it Clipper?
Yeah, they can't have betting companies or adult
on children's kits.
Grown sort of companies to be on young people, obviously encouraging gambling and stuff like that. So no, they can't have any gambling ones. So when it was 365 bet, it was Utilita and all that business. Yeah.
Okay, a few more comments then as we round up the kit topic and never talk about it again. Put it in the group.
We will.
Just for you.
We definitely will be talking about it again next year, the same time. Why has it took so long to come out? Why is it shit?
That yellow again. Fuck
yeah.
Derek Moore, it's growing on me with the better picks out today. Nora much prefer the warm yellow from the 70s, that Yoki yellow. Right, Badger. Good to see you, Badger.
Hey, Badger.
Hey.
How are you?
All right,
How are you, Alex? Reissue the Karamak kit. So,
Oh, yeah.
a petition there, I can see. Teletone Monkey, how can Leeds Twitter designers do so much better? No idea, Teletone Monkey. We're obviously not charging enough for our services, so people don't value it. I'm going to get Ewan a full kit for his birthday. Like the girls bought the maroon kit.
Keep the tags.
Do you think we'll make many more signings? Collar is horrific. Why do you want buttons on a football shirt? This is quite nice.
Yeah, I quite like it. Something different rather than just a normal. Yeah, something different.
I'm not sure about the exact measurements of the color. Do we even know what SBO Top is yet? It's a gambling company from Thailand that are based in the Cayman Islands. No,
avoiding tax and stuff. Yeah, brilliant.
I smell a pre-season tour to a country we shouldn't be going.
Avoid all tax avoiders, aren't we? Lee Smith, SBO Top is just a cover company for something we don't know. MA5.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Hi from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Hello, Paul.
Oh, hello.
Okay. Do you think we'll make many more signings? As I understand it, a centre mid and a winger. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't think we need too many, to be fair, do we? I'm really happy with how we finished last season. Hopefully we don't get as many injuries as we did last season, because at times that really fucked us up. But if we've got everyone firing, we've got Click, Calvin, who else? We've got Dallas. We've got plenty of options. Rodrigo, there's options there, and I think left back for me was the main one. I mean, really, we needed a left back, didn't we? A proper one, but cover for Calvin wouldn't go amiss as well, because when he's out, he's inevitably going to get a red card, isn't he? And we're fucked without him for a few games, so that would be good. But yeah, look, I'm quite calm with it, really. Left back for me was the main one, and he looks shit hot as well, doesn't he? So apart from that, yeah, I'd like another centre mid, but yeah, look, let's see how it goes.
Rob?
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about raiding Barcelona. I was just going to touch on, I mean, it's not the youth podcast, but another club we have done a number on is Wigan, because we took, obviously, last year, and we've taken this year again. It's McGurk, the young lad. He looks a right signing, the little Ron Weasley-looking fella. What a player he's going to be. I think from the backup to Calvin aspect, what you're saying there, I'm not worried about too many more marquee signings for this current season coming up, because we've got real quality in the 23s. Are they Premier League ready? Probably not. But could they do a job in an early cup round? Can they alleviate some during the Christmas period where we've got fixture congestion? Yeah, I think they can. I'd like to see Gelhardt come through this year and get a few games. You've got Greenwood there or thereabouts. We've still got Shackleton and Davis if they don't go out on loan or don't get moved on, who are on the fringes of the first 11. So as well as all the investment into the youth this year, of which there's a large proportion, players like Amari Miller, Ombang, players like that coming in, it's good to see throughout the squads. It's not just because we're not spending on first 11 players, which sometimes annoys me when you see the kind of Twitter venom going around about announce this, announce signing, announce players, announce. We're quietly developing and reinvesting back into the academy to continue the good work that happened last year. So from my perspective, focusing on the 23s, I think there's enough breadth of quality to come through a good production line for years to come, really, or slowly starting to build a good production line to come and replace some of the first 11 when they drop off.
Are you Rob, it's interesting to ask you, because you're sort of more expert in that area, but honestly, how many of those younger players that we're buying do you think will come through? Because if you look at like Shackleton, Leif Davis, history of them, throughout the last 4 or 5 years, there's been that kind of speculation that this guy's going to be the next big thing, they're going to break through. And bar Phillips, I'm trying to think of it. They haven't. I mean, Strout was kind of brought in, wanted from Ajax, but I'm talking about those guys that get bought very young and kind of. I mean, are you confident that we're going to be able to do that?
It depends which way you look at it, because you've got players like McCallum, who's going out on loan last year. He's gone out on loan already this year again, and he's already putting in decent performances at Morecambe. And then you've got the opposite side of that. You've got your Mujikas and your Kuns who are still out on loan and gone back out on loan this year, where it's not quite working out for them. For me, if you're asking for highlight picks, I'd say there's definitely two, and it's Gelhardt and Cody Drame at right back to eventually supersede Aylin in the future. I think Drame and Gelhardt would be my two picks for two players that I think will kick on and be, okay, they might not be England regulars like Calvin Phillips has now cemented himself as, but I think they'll definitely be a fair few appearances for them in Leeds' first 11 in the future. They would be my two right now that I would say would be the ones that I would earmark. There's others. There's lots of potential. We've got England under 17s. We've got England under 16s. I was writing some notes earlier and looking Kean Coleman for Ireland under 19s. We've got some good quality there. It's all about that next step. And last year on the youth pod, we did speak a lot about, is it better to stay and develop with Mark Jackson under a Bielsa system in the pyramid of Leeds and develop that way? Or do they go out on loan for more competitive physical games in like League One, League Two? So, I guess we'll talk about that as the season develops.
That's interesting because, I mean, physically, kids, there's still kids out there. They change and develop differently, and it can affect how they play and how they develop as a footballer. So, I mean, my view on the signings is I'm really pleased with Firpo because that was the most important position to fill. I think we've had a little bit of a clear out of people that needed to move on, to be frank. With it, no, well, apart from Pablo, I'd have had played till he's 80. But I do think we need a couple more. I think that the problem you've got is that the way that Bielsa plays, you're bound to pick up injuries. You can say that we had a bad time with injuries this year or last season. I would anticipate that we may well lose a few players for a bit of time this season as well, just because of the 100-mile-an-hour. Nobody else plays like that, so we're bound to probably suffer a few more injuries than everybody else in the league. That will have an impact. So I definitely think we need a more in-depth squad that can step up. Not relying necessarily on the youth, or if you're confident enough in Somerville and in Gelhardt and people like that, fine. But if you're not, I'm still thinking we might need to bring a couple more squad players in. But ultimately, I think I've got to a point now. I don't know how you lads feel, where I completely trust me. I'm not worried about who we bring in and what we do, because I completely trust Bielsa to manage the process, manage the season well. Constantly be learning and getting better throughout the season. So I've not been as relaxed about a close season and the signings we make as I have been the last 2 years, because I just implicitly trust him to know what he needs, to get what he wants, and to get the most out of whatever team turns up on, the first game of the season, and continue that way throughout. So it's a really nice place to be, isn't it?
It's been very relaxing, and the amount of clickbait transfer rumours that we've had over the last few seasons, it's just made me switch off. I just don't even look at it anymore. And interesting thing, what you said, Rob, about that kind of negativity on Twitter, especially when the club put out anything, if it's about the women's team or whatever it is, and it's just a whole bunch of comments of sign someone, and
But some of these lads are going to look like new signings because they've got a full preseason with Bielsa. You look at Llorente, Koch, Rodrigo. I think they're going to look like different players on the first game of the season because they got full preseason. They didn't really participate in the. I mean, I know some of these lads went to the Euros, but they just basically were training. They didn't make any appearances, so they've come back, had a little break. And I think Koch was back early. He reported back to Thorpe Arch earlier than he should have. A few of them have come back and said, we're not going to utilise our full holiday. We want a full pre-season. And if you believe the Phil Hay article from today, which is nice to see Phil back as well, but he said that some of them are doing double and triple sessions in the middle of July in this heat to get ready for pre-season. So I think 3 or 4 of those lads will look like new players anyway, which technically, I know it's a get out like new signings because they're not, but they'll look like new players with the full pre-season. It's just my opinion.
Brilliant point, mate. Honestly, there's going to be some that's there. I think that to counteract that argument, the question mark you would always say is, will Ayling, Dallas, Bamford have as good a seasons as they had this season, as last season? That's the only other thing I would say. Now, again, I trust Bielsa that if they're good enough, that they'll play. And they're so consistent in their performances last. It wasn't like they had a few good games or Bamford scored 25 lucky goals. He really had to work for his goals, didn't he? So there is that counter argument, but I'm not buying it as much as I probably was when you first hear it. You think, yeah, that's probably a really good valid point, but I'm probably not as. I don't think it's going to be as important. I think they will perform just as well. If they drop off 10%, they'll still be brilliant, won't they?
Yeah. I think Forshaw is definitely going to be like a new signing.
Are any of his body parts still his? Are they not all over the place?
Yeah. We've also got that new lad Jack Harrison as well. He looks all right, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to say. Yeah,
didn't have a holiday, did he?
No, that's what I mean, mate. He had about a week in Costa Rica, and then he's just been smashing the gym and practice again in America. That boy just doesn't stop, does he?
What were you going to say then? Because have you seen his missus?
Well, yes.
Had a holiday, he's just been smashing. I mean, fit as a lap.
It makes you wonder, because there was all that talk of Bielsa burnout, and these lads they don't even go on holiday.
Yeah, Euros and then a week off and then straight back, and they're not asked.
It's ridiculous.
Double and triple sessions, mate, in these temperatures, especially with or without murder ball, but even just doing 3 training sessions a day. I mean, I've never played football at any particularly good level, but even when I did, the 1 training session every few days was more than enough. Not 3 in a day.
You're sweating standing still. You're sweating sitting down in this weather. A few comments then. Pity Wickle said, I think that's Hannah Brad. Hey up. Hannah. Midfield is strange. Dallas, Click, Rodrigo, Forshaw, Tyler, and Shackleton. The under 23s looking at, and we're still looking for another centre midfielder.
Yeah.
Tyler Roberts still here?
Is he? Don't sugarcoat it, Ewan.
Yeah.
Under 23s looking exciting for next season. Certainly is, Lee. If Dallas is going to fill in for when the wing backs are injured, red card rotation, we need a decent central midfielder. Not a bad point there. Paul, Teletone Monkey, Huggins being touted for leaving this shocker. I thought Huggins was fantastic for the under 23s last season.
Yeah, I think him and Steve, it depends, because a bit like Casey could have stayed, I think, but the club eventually gave him what he wanted, which was first team football. So he's obviously off to Blackpool, or he's gone to Blackpool. But Jordan Stevens has been out on trial this week at Harrogate. He was out on loan last year, but that has been rumoured as a potential move as well, not a loan. I don't know if that's true, but that surprised me, because he's a good player, and I would have thought he would stay in the academy. Could be a loan. But yeah, I mean, there is some quality.
We've got trialist, wasn't he, for Harrogate?
Yeah, he was out trialing. Yeah, we've got. He's still contracted to us though, and Noah Kenne as well. People forget about Kenne. He could, if necessary, if required, like I say, he'd do a job. I'm not saying he's going to beat the world. These lads are still lads. They're not ready for Premier League football week in, week out. But to step in, I think we've got a real good academy that's been put together there, and I hope they crack on and do well this year against better opposition.
It's so good. It's so good, Bielsa, though, because I know that there's a story of Malik Wilkes and who was the lad who went to Barnes the start of last season, who was supposed to be the next big thing. Played up front. Anyway, there's a couple of players. No, he went to Barnes.
Went to Barnes, did he? Went up north.
Young lad, wasn't it? Yeah, small.
Yeah,
lad.
No, big sort of West Indian lad who played up front for. And people had watched him play in the under 23s and said, "Oh, he's going to be really good." And he went, on a full term move. I think Bielsa's just so honest, and just if they want to play first team football and he knows it's going to be 2 or 3 years, he just tells them, and they say, "Well, I don't want to wait," and he says, "Well, get yourself off." They're not in a bad way. It's all that very amicable. I know a bit of a backstory to that one and the Malik Wilkes story. So, and he's come on a lot, Malik Wilkes, and he's scoring loads for Hull. I know it's a lower level, but he wants to play football, and that's why wouldn't you?
And it's good that he takes such an interest. I read a quote from Adam Underwood that said, I got it, I wanted to quote it because I think it's so nice. After the story of Bielsa looking at the under-12s, where he was playing with coaching and assisting some under-12s earlier on in the summer, and during his holiday, which he's not taken, by the way, he's just kind of floated around Thorpe Arch the whole summer. It was a quote from Adam Underwood from the academy manager, and it said, Bielsa will ask about the under-15s and 16s sometimes, and I think, I'm not so sure I've ever even mentioned that player to him, but he knows everything about them. There's no divide here at Leeds between the academy and the first team. Spot on.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll just try and rush through these comments really quickly because we're lagging behind. I don't want anyone to feel left out. So Stefan has said Alioski hair. I think that's directed.
Depends who he signs for, because I'll be changing it.
It's
To
you,
Euro.
isn't it? It's you,
Definitely not me, that one.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that's for you, that one, mate.
How exciting to get last year's players on the pitch at the same time. I think we definitely need Europe to keep our big players happy. That was Lee and John. Potentially. Colin will be the Rod and Raf show this season. Rod Fina or Raf Rigo?
Raf Rigo, that sounds good.
Raf Rigo is a good one.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Brangelina, isn't it? Stefan Bate on the bench 1 or 2 years, and then he is a starter. What a steal from Auto. Only 1.5 million. Normal cost 5 million in Auto, we trust. Yeah, so 1 year left on his contract, I think, and Bate wanted to get some first team football. So not sure if he'll get any with us. Few people behind in front of him in the pecking order, but you never know. His highlight reel looks good. Mind you, my one would look pretty good as well. I think everybody's got when you edit it all together.
Donny, I put you down as one of
them. His brother's an even better player, though, isn't he?
I'm a lanky goal hanger. Are you going to make a joke now?
His brother's miles better, isn't he? Master. He's brilliant, Master Ben. Amazing.
Well, to be fair, there's some of the headline with cock, click, and bait. Cock, click, bait.
It's like the what was it, Captain Pugwash? All the names: Masturbates, Seaman Stains, Roger the Cabin Boy.
I'll ignore that. Wiggy has said, "I think they all will, apart from Bamford. I hope I'm right about the others and wrong about Bamford." Lee, I think Bamford will be pushing for an England call-up. So
yeah, he's got that to aim for on. He's got to push on.
He certainly does. Tom Walton, do you think Forshaw will be involved next season or moved on?
Probably in installments. He'll be moved on, just separate body parts, taken to different parts of the country.
Sneaking him somewhere.
I feel so bad for Adam Forshaw, man.
I know. Me too. I hope he is.
Good footballer.
His Instagram post said he was training again, though, didn't he? So
I mean, what actually put him out for this amount of time again? It wasn't really much, was it? It was just a knock in that under-23s game, wasn't it? It didn't look like it was that much. And when it's like that, it's a bit worrying, isn't it? When it's not an impact or anything like that. But I really hope he is, because he's the sort of squad player, centre mid that we're not after, but he'd be a good squad centre mid player, I think. And he is a good player at the end of the day. But that was 2 years ago now. Exactly. Probably over that.
Not played enough. It's going to take him months to get back into match fitness, and is he going to get that game time? I don't think so. But
I hope
wish him all the best.
Yeah.
A bit of a Victor Orta style transfer planning from Stefan here. Somerville to Belgium on loan. I will do the same with Greenwood and Gelhardt. They're ready for more than the under-23s.
All to Belgium, eh?
So
I disagree. Yeah. We've had this conversation before on the other pod, haven't we? I think you've got to look with Gelhardt, no, because I think he'll be pushing for first 11 fringe this year. He'll be benched a lot if they go with 3 subs, as the Premier League is still doing. I think, isn't it? It's going back to 3 subs. So if I think Gelhardt, no. Greenwood, you could argue potentially a loan to a decent Championship side, but I think Gelhardt, no, and. I wouldn't loan Somerville either, because the step up from PL2 Division 2 to PL2 Division 1, we're now going to be playing the academies of your Liverpools, your Manchester Uniteds, your Manchester Cities. So I think that at their age, for me, I would argue that's just as competitive as going out. Different to, say, a McCallum or someone who's slightly older that's now getting the physicality of their growth development done in League 1 or League 2. But I'm not a performance sports scientist or analyst, so
I would love to see them develop their understanding of each other's games and just get that sort of without thinking, the instinctive play and understanding where each other's going to be, and just play together some more. And got to try and get through these comments now. Alex Alioski. Performative anger. Let's not touch that with a barge pole. Stefan Bate, the new Gilmore. Just wait. I did see that some of the Chelsea coaches said that they rate him higher than Gilmore was when he was at his age. They're crying Chelsea now that their fans wait and see. He will be the new Gilmore. It was interesting to bring up that point. that again, you mentioned, Rob, earlier, just that kind of anger on Twitter. You see all of these Chelsea fans and they're like, oh, we need to sign Lewandowski and why are we selling all these players? You just won the Champions League.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy it. Take a moment.
Short memories. Modern fans have got short memories, and it is what it is. To be fair to them, most of them are used to winning trophies each year that support these clubs now. And like Ewan was saying, if they're kids and they've grown up in this era where they've picked a team, and it's constantly won, you kind of can forgive them for the naivety, because they're probably still teenagers that are tweeting this kind of stuff out. But when it's grown adults that have been football fans for 30, 40 years and they've seen how commercialized and how short-term some of the success is for some of these clubs, you can forgive them for having not been through the pain that we've been through for X amount of years. But it is a bit naive sometimes, like you say, short memories. You've just won the Champions League. Stop crying. And your team will sign millions of pounds worth of players. Don't worry.
I think that's what it is, Rob, though. It's like football clubs should almost turn off the comments, shouldn't they? The replies, because everything you read now, I've almost got to the point where I'm rarely on Twitter to read it. I go on and post stuff, but because it's so irritating and kind of negative. And like you say, as soon as you read a comment by somebody about the women's team or about, a signing or whatever, and you read the things underneath, it's got to be virgins, young teenage boys, whatever, frustrated in the bedrooms, play Football Manager or dream teams, whatever, fantasy league, whatever, and it's all like a big. You just make a decision and you go with it, and that's it all clicks together, and it's so annoying to watch, and you just think, I don't know why they bother, because it's all negative stuff. It's all, why aren't we doing that? Sign somebody. Just give it a rest, man, and enjoy your life, and football is a massive part of our lives, but there's much more important things going on. And like you said, what's that all about? If you've supported Leeds, Chelsea, I mean, I remember Chelsea when they were, terrible. In my lifetime, more than once, they've got all this oil money now. Man City, the same. Just enjoy it while it lasts, and just get on with it and enjoy it. Don't use. I mean, again, social media is just a massive platform for negativity and hatred at the moment, and so I tend to avoid it. But yeah, it's irritating.
The pandemic didn't help. Sorry, as well. I don't think the pandemic helped, because it made it feel like more of an armchair sport, and you add that with VAR. And for people who don't go to games and maybe haven't been to games, and that's fine. Some may live overseas and not be able to go to support their local clubs or the clubs they support for whatever various reasons, priced out of it, etc. But it felt like that new wave of just this short-term memory and this kind of, they want quick instant fixes. Chelsea fans screaming for the signing of Haaland, whereas probably 2 to 3 years ago, most of them didn't really know who he was, probably wouldn't have him on the radar, and they'd have been screaming about signing, Werner and Havertz at the time, and then they get Werner and Havertz and they want the next best thing and the next best thing. And I think it's just this expectancy and this it felt during the pandemic like there was more armchair fans, because it was more of an armchair sport. Every game televised, VAR, technology. But this has come. It comes from that same subsection of people that sit on Twitter and YouTube and so on, and these wonderful platforms that can be used for good. And they want every bit of a game that's so simple, jumpers for goalposts, etc. They want a simple game of football analysed to its 20th degree with XG and all this kind of like over the top analysis. They've called for it, and they want it so scrutinised and black and white that it felt a little bit Americanized. So I hope, going on a separate topic, that VAR is neutralised a bit more this year, fans back in stadiums, and there's a bit more of a connection to communities, and football feels like football again. That's just
just ruins it, doesn't it? All that XG and all that nonsense, and cryptocurrency for Arsenal fans and all. It's just what is going on. I mean, I don't feel sorry for many other football supporting fans really, but that's an absolute travesty. But I think VAR. Listen, just on the VAR thing there, in the Euros, it was superbly used, wasn't it? Bar the odd game. And usually where we had English officials managing the game, which tells you a story, I think the European officials seemed to manage the VAR. I didn't even think they were using it for the first half of the game.
You didn't notice it, did you?
No, it was brilliant. I mean, that's exactly how you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point of it, really, isn't it? Just quickly make a decision and not...
Discreet. When it needs to come in. When it doesn't, get on with the game. Brilliant. Really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of VAR, we won't get to see the offside working out. How did you feel about that, Wardy, when you heard that news?
What? It's been completely taken away, is it?
Oh!
I haven't read about this.
Instant reactions.
Come on, yeah, tell me what's happening.
Yeah. So from next season onwards,
yeah,
until they change the rules again,
the season
week
after.
by week,
until we lose and something needs changing again. Yeah,
right. They won't show the images of the the knee hairs or the armpit
and they're still going to be
hairs.
used by hairs though in the VAR hut. I always think they're in a hut or like a little bar cabin or something. Yeah. And they're just going to be still using that in there. We just can't see it. Because if they're still using it in there, then it's bullshit. But I'll be happy to not see it because then you just don't see it on Twitter for weeks and weeks and just been bringing it up all the time. But yeah, look, if it's thicker lines or whatever it is, if they're doing it back at the VAR hut, then that's good. But yeah, I never like it because especially when it's been given against you and you see that. Patrick Bamford's clearly onside against Crystal Palace, but his end of his arm isn't. Like, it just pisses you off when you see it, really, doesn't it? And then after that, you're just like, fuck this, like, what's the point? But, no, if it's getting used better, I'm all for it, mate, yeah.
I think in Holland, they have thicker lines, so you've got to be more offside in some respects. So if it is, they've sort of almost looked at that finger, that hand, that end of your toe, and said that if those lines are slightly thicker, not so precise, then unless you physically, if the lines don't meet, basically, then you're offside. But if the lines meet and cross over, then it's the old giving the attacker the benefit of the doubt kind of situation, which I kind of agree with, but I don't think we'll ever get there with that, to be frank. But we like to ruin sports by bringing in too many fucking rules.
Yeah,
don't we?
I think because it's so watched as well in this country, it's probably the most watched league in the world that. People probably demand it has to be perfection and it has to be the perfect call and it has to be right, even if it isn't really that right. If you see a millimeter off, then like, right, everyone's watching this, so we have to get it perfectly right. I don't agree with it, but that might be a reason why they just always do it.
That's exactly the thing, Wardy, and it's exactly what Rob was talking about just then. We've gone so far from what football should be. And why was the offside rule brought in? And we talked a lot about this last season, but it was brought in so that there wasn't, me, basically, goal hanger, lazy goal hanger who hates tracking back, just hanging around the goalkeeper, pinching him on the arse, squeezing his nipple, elbowing him in the ribs when the ref's not looking. And just goal hanging. That's why the offside rule was brought in originally. And back when in the early 1900s, when they had formations where you'd have 2 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 7 strikers or whatever, because everybody wants to be a striker, like it is in 5-a-side.
Yeah.
The rule changes have been exponential. I read an article on I think it's BR Football or something like that, and they'd said that up until the kind of time when Wenger joined the FIFA or joined in this special advisory role, the official rule book undergoes about 10 to 20 changes of rules in football each year. That's it. Just 10 to 20 minor changes and altercations. Since he's joined, or since the FIFA have undergone this corruption scandal and there's been this big move to more transparency and decision-making and whatnot, there's been an exponential growth of about 100 plus rule changes each season, whether it be minor. We went through that phase of subs have to leave the pitch at the nearest point, and they're over-scrutinizing and over-policing a game, which was and still is the most watched sport in the world. I don't think you need to make it what they're making it, which is a sport, because if you've got millions of fans in overseas territories that are watching games without access to the live football atmosphere, the VAR would give them the understanding of how the decisions have been made. So that was why, for me, they're pushing the sport base, and that I don't really like.
They've got no chill, man. They would never make it in government.
No chill.
They'd be fired straight away. You're doing too much work. Listen, keep your head down. Don't do so much work. Stop making all these rule changes. Just chill. Go through the motions. Yeah. We'll see you we'll see you 4 p.m. Friday for beers. And that's what
was anyone complaining
every
about
government department in the world is. That's why the government works so slow. And It's because they don't do any work, but sometimes you can do too much work.
Yeah, you put yourself out there. They could accept all these gold watches they shouldn't be getting and these free villas and massive yachts if they didn't put their head above the parapet so fucking often. You could probably get away with more. Sepp Blatter and all them would have got away with miles more if he didn't put his boat race in the news and start annoying everybody.
People trying to justify salaries, and then they're justifying these extortionate salaries now because there's more transparency. So they're creating rule changes that don't need to be made. But if you ask a fan of football that lives in a country and supports a league that's not in that country, so it could be a Norwegian fan, for example, that supports the Premier League. Let's just take that. You survey those fans. I don't think as it was before, and I'm only going back 5 or 6 years ago before some of these more weird extreme rule changes came in. Were they complaining about it then? No. So you're changing a sport which already suited the live audience and the television audience. So maybe change the quality of your production. Maybe, people pay subscriptions to Sky, BT, Amazon, etc. Maybe those companies can change the quality of their pundits, change the quality of the production value. Maybe focus on that instead of actually changing the fundamentals of the game, which for me don't need to be changed.
And give the advantage to the attackers like it used to be.
And I watch Napoli in Italy a lot. Like I follow them in Italy. It's probably the only other team from another country, and I'm the same. I don't care whether it's VAR or it's dictating or what the rule changes are. I want to watch the team that I kind of support in Italy that I can't go and watch, week in, week out and see the new players that they brought. What are they like? Because I don't really know them very well, and just sort of feel like I'm part of that experience over in Naples rather than just, looking at it on Twitter or seeing a scoreline coming. So but I think you've hit the nail on the head. The European Super League, whatever they were going to, the failed coup to sort of take teams out of that was all about that. The money is in television rights and television money. It's much more viable and much more rich in that arena than it is in the fans paying to go in through the gate every week. That was evident. So that was all about that, wasn't it? It was about a global television audience, not about the legacy fans, whatever, the 40,000 or whatever that go every week to watch your team. It's embarrassing because
they don't make the same money. It's the TV rights, exactly what you were saying, but it's also the tourist tickets as well, because like Barcelona, for example, they make far more money from tourists because they'll fly in. They won't just buy a ticket; they'll buy the best tickets available. Unlike the season ticket holders who will buy the cheapest available ones. And they'll also, they'll buy a shirt, they'll buy a scarf, they'll buy a hat, they'll buy everything, full kit for their little kid as well, because they're only there for one game. So that's the model. That's where it's moving away from. That's where the Premier League will be moving towards as well, because Barcelona and Real are just a bit further down the road than we are. Right.
I was going to say one last thing. That's where that 39th game came in, because they wanted to do the exhibition games, didn't they? Because if you took Manchester City versus Manchester United and put it into Paris or you put it into Miami, imagine the flock of tourists that would go to watch that game in a neutral venue. But that, in essence, was the ESL just 10 years before, and much worse and much poorly thought out. But they've tried it before. Before the ESL, they tried it with this 39th game. They tried it with the ESL, and they'll try it again. And who knows? Hopefully never. But one day we might be involved as a club in such a terrible idea, because you never know what your owners are thinking in terms of finances. So let's hope not. But it'll happen again. Something will come again.
Certainly will. So on that topic, then I'll just go through these comments as quickly as possible. Alex, a lot of these tweets, so the angry tweets we were referring to earlier, are from overseas fans who spectate sports like it's a live playthrough of Football Manager. Those fans that the European Super League catered for. And I think that sums up exactly what we've been talking about. John Bailey, Chelsea have got rid of so much talent, though, to be fair. Yep, that's what happens when you sign 1,000 kids for your academy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lee Smith, shame we couldn't get the finances together for Highland. John Bailey, no chance of getting Cullen.
Shut down straight away, that one.
Amaral Laj, I've butchered your name, sorry. Corporate football is not for Bielsa. I think that's another reason why we're so happy and chill as Leeds fans as well, just because we've got Marcelo, and happy birthday to him, by the way. I know he reads everything about the club, so he's definitely one of the 45 people watching.
He's an avid watcher of the Roaring Peacocks podcast, I've heard.
Yep.
Yeah. He rings us up every week. I remember Ruud Gullit signing for Chelsea, and their fortune seemed to turn around for them. From John, Colin Brooks, glass building in Stockley Park, glass hut probably. Stefan, when Andrea buys a club more, the best under 23 will go on loan to this club. He's talking about an extra a feeder club, right? Setting something up like the City Group have. Stockley Park, most depressing place ever. Couldn't agree with you more there, Colin. Full of very sort of, I think the word is anal, isn't it? Individuals.
Yeah, maybe they're doing that in there.
Sticklers.
Yeah. That's why I said it was like a porter cabin. That's just what I think. There's some boring, dull porter cabin. They're just
Hey, whoa! I work in a porter cabin. You cheeky.
I was going to say, you've alienated the porter cabin fans now.
You've alienated all the builders, all the project managers.
All porter cabins, aren't we?
Yeah.
Getting their set squares out to measure the offsides. Stefan, you build the team up to be Serie A in the future, but start in Serie B. Yep, like Leeds have done. Get this right. Having multiple teams is about spreading the cost of running a club, Man City style. Yep. So a lot of that in the comments. And what do you guys think of these plans to pay tribute to Pablo in Castellón?
Oh my God! I've just been looking, lads. So listen, get yourself in there. So they play in a local. When they get down, they've just been relegated, so they play in almost a local league. So they're playing Barcelona B. I don't know if Real Madrid B, but they're playing Villarreal's B team. There's another team, like a big team that they're playing, because they have to play in these localized Spanish sort of leagues. So Barcelona's not far away, Villarreal's right next door. I've just been looking for my 50th, which I know everybody who's watching will think, you're not 50, Ewan. When's that? In 10 years' time? But just been looking. Me and our kid are going to organise one. So anybody who wants to jump on it, my 50th, get over to Castellón. There's some beautiful little places on the coast around there. You can hire villas and go watch Pablo play out there. And really, like the locals were like, what is going on here? There's something like 100 Leeds fans have just turned up to watch Pablo Hernandez play. But that's something we've just been looking into it, going out in sort of early, maybe April, May next year, towards the end of the current coming season. Be brilliant. Can't wait.
Sign me up. I'm up. I'm well in for that.
Yeah, there's a few.
Isn't Pablo's birthday around April?
Yeah, we could go for Pablo's birthday. See what games. And I looked today. The Barcelona B game. I think it's away, that one. Sure, that's May 15th, and I think Villarreal's maybe the 22nd of May. So see what games are on in April and go for his birthday.
Yeah, 11th of April. My dad was the 10th of April. There you go. So Pablo's like my stepdad.
Yeah,
there you go.
Which would make sense.
The testimonial will be good whenever they get one organised for him, because it'll be that'll be a really special day. That.
Yeah, he'll have some good people to bring along as well. With Pablo, won't he? He'll know quite a few people in football, some good old players to bring back. Maybe even like David Villa or something like that. That'd be good.
Yeah, Legends team.
Villarreal B on the 15th of May at home at Castellón, and then Barcelona B away at the new camp, I assume, or maybe they don't play at the new camp. But I was hoping for an Ibiza. I just thought if they get Ibiza against Castellón in Ibiza, we're there, aren't we?
Yeah, that would be class.
I think the Barca B one will be behind closed doors, because they don't really do away fans in Spain, do they? Because of the size of the country, they don't take away fans mainly.
That's the thing to watch out for, isn't it?
Yeah. Or you could buy a ticket in the home end, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I'd get away with it with my Spanish good looks. I mean, Latin olive skin.
The capacity of Castellón is 15,000. I think, and I believe
I don't think it's going to be full.
Sell that out easy.
I believe they have 10. They've got 10,000 season ticket holders. I think.
How really?
Wow.
Apparently.
Fair play.
Wow.
But still, that's
get any tickets, lads. Don't worry, Mav will be outside. Tickets, lads. Buy yourself.
Room for 5,000. So talking about a Pablo 11, then. So the squad for the first year he came in. Robert Green.
Good.
Kyle Bartley, Kemar Roof, Chris Wood, Marcus Antonsen,
Antonsen, fucking hell.
Dukara, Silvestri. Maybe he could make an appearance.
Oh,
hasn't he gone to Udinese today? I saw.
Yeah, he's playing all right. He got did he get player of the year whoever he was at last year. Was it Verona?
Verona, yeah.
Verona, yeah.
He signed for Udinese today, I think.
He got Player of the Year, I think.
Didn't he almost go to the Euros?
God knows. What, the song contest? Or shit, man.
Is he no longer Spilvestri then? Because that's what I used to call it.
No, he did. I'm sure I read somewhere. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because you know what my memory and fact checks like. But I'm sure he got Player of the Season for Verona, wherever he was at last season. Yeah,
fair play.
God knows how. He can't have been playing in goals.
Ronaldo Vieira, Hardy
Decent.
Sarko.
Who? Yeah,
Tyler
it, Hardy.
Denton.
Square it, Haggy. Yeah,
Alfonso Pedraza.
good. He was good.
Yeah. Could be
Chirito.
could be quite the Pablo 11.
Yeah.
Oh, it's mouth-watering, isn't it?
Imagine ringing Ducara up. Listen, I've played with some brilliant players at Valencia and Villarreal, and I really want you to come back. And Silvestri, it wouldn't be the same without you. I doubt it.
Union O'Kane.
Don't call me. I'll call you. I'll call you. Union O'Kane will have to get the day off from McDonald's.
Charlie Taylor, of course, and Giuseppe Bellucci.
Oh God, he can fuck off.
I liked him. I thought he was decent, Belushi. I thought in Blues Brothers he was fantastic.
Ewan's controversial opinion.
Yeah,
I like to do it. I like to do it.
Yeah.
I love Giuseppe Belushi. It was brilliant. It was all Leeds, 100% Leeds in. Really good temperament.
Yeah, warrior.
So
professional.
Really consistent. Never made any mistake.
Yeah. No. Oh, do you remember that one against Borough?
I know. Yeah.
That one goal against Borough. I was right behind that as well away in Borough, and that'll live with me forever. That one goal.
Love the volley from 60 yards.
Oh.
How many other Spanish footballers have played for Leeds that could join this Spanish Leeds 11 for Pablo?
Firpo is, isn't he?
I'm thinking Raul Bravo.
Yeah.
If he's not in jail.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, he was accused of hiring a hitman.
Yeah,
yes, he was. That's pretty mental, isn't it?
Sounds about right.
In an attempt on Darko Kovacevic.
Yeah.
Get Samu Said back.
Said, yeah.
Samu Said. The spitting snake? No, I don't know. Okay, and of course Gary Monk would be the guest manager, presumably.
Oh dear,
the reptilian head of the Snake 11.
Yes, for bringing Pablo to the club. Best thing he ever did.
Yeah.
Right here. So that's it then.
Is it? Oh, boo.
Oh, we got Marcelo's birthday.
We've been going an hour.
No, let's keep going.
Okay.
Got to say Marcelo's birthday. I said it on Twitter today. Man that made me fall back in love with football and Leeds United, and whatever kind of day he has, it can't be good enough to bless that lovely gentleman who came and completely transformed the way that our team play and how we perceive our football team. And do you know what? Like I said before, so relaxed about everything because I trust him implicitly to do exactly the right thing. He works harder than everybody else. He knows more than everybody else. He gets the team fitter than everybody else. So I wish him the very, very best of birthdays, and I hope he has I don't know what a relaxing day for Marcelo looks like, to be honest.
I was just going to say, what do you reckon he's doing today? What do you reckon he's doing?
I don't know if it's fake or something, but someone on Twitter said that he's been spotted in Edinburgh today for his birthday.
He's in Edinburgh. He's in Edinburgh.
Visiting castles and that.
Yeah,
very nice. Edinburgh's lovely.
He's in a day off, hasn't he?
Yeah, he'll be down at Leith in
He's probably scouting someone. He's probably up there scouting someone in an under-14s match or something.
Yeah.
I think he's with his missus, isn't he? So.
Oh, is he? Oh, brilliant. He'll be on Princes Street doing squat thrusts. Getting his missus to do like 100 metre, doing bleep tests.
Just sets up a bleep test on Princess Street.
On the docks at Leith doing bleep tests and making a swim across the estuary there,
yeah. I must admit, I did like reading that story because there is this part of him that you think he's like robotic or something. He's so obsessed. And it was so nice when we had the anniversary of those celebrations where you really saw that human side of him, and he kind of became that kind of grandpa figure rather than the fitness torturer.
I think the players really enjoyed that as well. The players enjoyed seeing that side of him because they commented, quite a few of them, saying that they've never really seen that side of him, and I think that's important for them to see that side of him and see that he is, like you said, not a robot, and he does have a side to him that really does love football and he loves working with players. So I think that, it's just as important for them to see it, to be honest.
When you revere somebody though like that, like your dad or your granddad, it doesn't matter. You love your granddad, don't you? You sort of look up to him, and nothing makes you happier than making your granddad smile, does it? You used to clown about just doing little things in kitchen or in the front room, like making your granddad laugh and making him happy and making him chuckle. To see Marcelo like that, they must all. That's why they don't want a holiday, because they want to get back and start again and make him happy again at the end of next season. Yeah, it's like it's that kind of relationship where it's more than just a football manager, isn't it? Where you feel like he's that revered and that adulated by the team that they're like doing everything they can to make him proud, make him happy, about their performances. So that's probably why they don't want a holiday, because I think they all know that if they're not performing, they won't play, and he's pretty ruthless when it comes to that. And they're enjoying the football, and I bet he's told them, a bit like the thing he made him picking litter up and showing what it's like to be a working man in Leeds and how much it costs to buy a ticket. I bet you any money he's had that conversation about. It's a short career, you don't get that long. Don't leave it in the changing rooms or on the beach in Ibiza or whatever. Leave it on the pitch. Go out in a blaze of glory. And when you do retire at 34 or whatever, 35, 36. Have no regrets and know that you've reached your absolute maximum of your ability. And players like Dallas and Ayling and others that were probably on a certain trajectory will be able to look back on their career with pride. Not saying they wouldn't have before or they wouldn't have gone on to do great things away from Leeds, but probably because of that man, solely because of that man, they will absolutely be able to look on their career and say, I give it everything I had, and that's all you can ask from a footballer or an athlete, innit? I gave it me all. I left everything I had on that pitch, and when I did leave Leeds, I did it with beautiful memories. Not, the Chileno. They've all been through, like Berardi, the Chileno years and all that nonsense. You look at that, and they're going to look back now and think, wow, look what we've achieved. Look what I did as a player, as an individual player, but also what I did for that team. They can all be proud of what they've done, and I think that's what you want as a footballer, isn't it? You want to look back on your career with pride and say, I didn't, I gave it everything. I gave it every maximum of my ability. I extracted it out of myself and put it out there on the pitch, and the fans will laud people like that forever, won't they? They'll never. Stuart Dallas will come to a Leeds game for forever and be, received well and applauded, as will everybody who's got us promoted last season and. Or season before, and everybody who got us to perform so well in the Premier League.
Yeah, what's amazing to me is he's still here.
I know, yeah.
How shopping if you to believe the interviews today?
What's that? Sorry,
house shopping.
Yeah,
for a house now.
Doing that in spring, I thought.
Yeah,
but maybe he's done it again. Maybe his missus is moving here. Thoughts on Bielsa, Rob?
Yeah, exactly. To echo the sentiments of the chaps, he is single-handedly made a whole community of people who maybe had fallen out of love with the club, fall back in love with the club. New fans, he's brought them to the club. He's our biggest asset in terms of ethos, spirit, motivation, everything. And he's what will single-handedly attract not only talent to the club in terms of non-footballing roles like coaching and just general roles around the community, but also key new footballers. Orta goes out on his little reconnaissance missions and specifically goes with his little Bielsa presentations and says, this is what this man expects of you when you join our club. So people are aware, and I think he's a big attraction for many reasons. Pundits, fans, I think, we've gone from being one of the most hated clubs in England, as probably still are to most, but especially in this new era, we talk about the new fan. We've become almost, which is unusual and weird sensation for us to feel it, but we've become some people's second team, and that's unnatural. That's not what Leeds United is. So and that's to do with Bielsa. That doesn't happen without Bielsa. And Ewan hit the nail on the head. I think if you're Stuart Dallas, if you're Luke Ayling, if you're one of those players, you would have had a good, steady career. But that man has probably, with his staff around him, being the main reason that you have gone on to achieve so far what you've done, which is get a team like Leeds United promoted, and then potentially be pushing for international places with certain of these players. So yeah, I love the guy. I think he's amazing, and I revere him to the end. I hope we build a statue in his absence, and I hope he stays for a few more years. I think that's the biggest question and the biggest worry that looms on my mind. What happens when he goes? So I'd rather not think about that. Enjoy it for what
said about the players though. Everybody seems happy. He seems that he's stayed longer because he's happy. The players are coming back because they're happy. That's a beautiful place to be as a football club. It's rare as well. So let's just rejoice and enjoy it while it lasts, and enjoy every moment of it. And you talk about statue. All seriousness, we're pageantry that goes on around bloody saints, All Saints, St. George's Day, and people we've got no association with. Literally in Leeds, we should have a St. Marcelo Day. Simple as that. A day whether it's his birthday, whatever, where we just have a national holiday in Leeds. We don't go to work. We celebrate the man because he's that well thought of, and he's made such a massive difference, not just to the club, but to the city as well. The city's got a different vibe about it and everything. All this mural stuff going on around the city is partly because of the team and the atmosphere he's created about the city being proud of its team again. And the only other time I remember other fans talking to me about Leeds United was when we got to the semi-final of the Champions League. We did become virtually a lot of other fans, good football lads from other clubs. We became their second team, and I think we're back there again because of the respect he's demanded from the footballing fraternities to say, I'm going to stick to my principles, whether we win, lose or draw. That's how we're going to play, and it's miraculous. It's a wonderful thing to have been part of.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and I won't get too personal, but personally to me, what Bielsa means is I lost my dad in 2015, so 6 years ago now, and I lost my granddad last year, and to have that kind of a figure like this old, he's like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something, he's living in the hills, and that first year, every press conference seemed to go for 45 minutes and was filled with gold, like philosophy, politics, everything. So personally, it's been he's filled. You can never really fill a void like your dad or your granddad, but as much as anybody can, he has. And I love him. I love him. I can't really describe or put into words what he means to me. Anyway,
you won't be alone, mate. You won't be alone. There'll be plenty. A lot of the players look at him like that. You can tell. Phillips, think about his backstory. There's definitely a lot of fans I know that look at him as that kind of father figure, that mentor, that kind of life coach almost. It's not just about. It's bigger than football. Into the things he says about politics and about where football sits in the great scheme. The fans being like the only real consistent thing in football, the only real important thing of the fan. That sings out to so many people. So it's a heartwarming story because you won't be alone, Donny. You'll have done that to many young men who have suffered like the same losses or similar losses to your good self, mate.
Yeah, and he'll feel that the first game back, I think, as well, because the outpouring of love, with the amount of turmoil, even during the closed football of the last few months and last year with the COVID, the amount of obviously club legends we've lost, and the like Donny said, you spoke really eloquently there, mate. There's people that have suffered personal losses like yourself. And I think he will feel that outpouring of love on that first day back and for the rest of the season, because to have the Ellen Road full, which we hope it is, and it looks like it's going to be, and the outpouring of love he receives anyway through his mail and letters and things to the club and on socials and what he gets shown, I think he will feel that. And I think he reciprocates it because we're officially the longest club he stayed as a manager. It looks like he's going to sign on to stay, obviously, at least another year, which probably might be another 2 years. He's got a project that he wants to finish here, and we all know hopefully where that will end at some point at the top. And if he brings that to us, imagine what that will do for Leeds as a city and as a club, as a fan base. And I think that's what he wants. I don't think he's not settling for anything less. And I think he feels that love that we're all showing him and we all talk about, and the fan base feels it. And I think he might get a little bit choked on that first game back and those first few games back, because I think the noise levels and I think the admiration and the outpouring of emotion that will go on inside Ellen Road and from afar, from overseas territories, will be so much. The volume will be deafening, even in a virtual way.
Yeah.
Bit of an update for you. So the policy...
The offside rules changed again.
The lines have gone thicker.
Yeah, they've gone bigger.
We've been on that long that actually offside rules changed already.
Wenger's released a press statement. ESL's going ahead.
We've heard Donny talking about the offside rules changing, and actually we've changed it again. So you need to update that, please.
Suck on that.
The away season ticket policy has been adjusted because obviously there was the removal of the what was it, super fans? Anyway, so now 20%. Yeah, that's it. Away season ticket holders will get 27% of the tickets, 9.5% to super away attendees, which I like the branding of that. 27% onto a tracker, which supports. There's the supporters with high tracker attendance from last season, 2019-20. 27% to home season tickets holders and 9.5% to members. So only 9.5% to members, but I mean they're getting something, but not as much as they were before, because I think loyalty should be rewarded.
Yeah, 100%. People invested a lot of time and money into it, haven't they? And their lives, in fact. So yeah, they should be rewarded 100%.
Yep, common sense prevailed. Okay, final thoughts then.
Well,
it's nice to be back. I like being back, guys. It's cool.
It's nice. You know what? It's nice as well
Christmas.
It's nice as well to have the Euros finished with and look forward to Leeds again. I'm really, really keen for the season to start. How far away are 4 weeks? A month? Yeah, it should be over a month, won't it?
Yeah.
What was it? Middle of August we start?
I think it's about 27 days, isn't it? Or something, 26 days.
I mean,
the 14th.
Yeah, something like that, isn't it? Yeah.
Got Gaisley next week. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we've got pre-season to look forward to. I'm going to try and get to the Blackburn game. I'm going to try and get to as many pre-season as I can just to take in football again. It's
is it not sold out?
What, Blackburn?
Is it?
They've got an allocation for members, haven't they? I think.
Yeah, I think they have, yeah.
Okay.
The season ticket ones and the away tickets sold out yesterday.
Saying I want to go, he's like, no, sorry, mate, you can't. No, look, it's been great. It's been a great summer. Look, we've had something nice to take our minds off a lot of shit with the Euros, and now let's get back to Leeds. And really fucking keen for the season to start. And happy birthday, Marcelo, you absolute legend.
Ewan?
Well, similar. I mean, really glad to be back on the podcast, lads. It's a joy, and I love doing it, and it's great. You know, we've built up a really nice friendship between all of us. Really, you know, I get basically what people do now. They know I'm Mr. Leeds, and I know my way around the city centre. Like Wardy, they turn up in Leeds, and then I spend my whole day navigating them around Leeds, which bars to go, where's busy at 7 o'clock? Where do I go for a Korean barbecue? Fucking hell, you are. So this is what I get now. But in all seriousness, I love being amongst your company, whether it be, certainly when we're doing the podcast. And Rob, it's great to do. I haven't done a podcast with you before, mate, and it's been a joy. So
likewise, mate.
Love that. Love being back. Can't wait to get into that for the season, because I've really loved that. Like Wardy, can't wait for the season to start, because I'm excited about what we're going to do. Are we going to do the same? It's not like anxious. It's not anguished about it. It's just looking forward to it and ready to embrace the new season. Again, massive happy birthday to El Loco, Mr. Bielsa. He's an absolute god. And let's get it on. Let's see where we get this season, and hopefully we've got an half decent kit to do it in.
You don't give a shit about that.
If we're playing in a lilac kit, man, Jesus Christ! Like I say, if anybody buys me that, I promise you, I'll make a video for the podcast of me setting fire to it on my fire pit in the back garden. But,
Oh dear. Okay, and just rounding off with a few of your comments, then. Amal, I'm just going to call you Amal, if that's okay with you, and let me know. From hated Leeds to pitied Leeds. Thanks to Bielsa, Leeds are envied. Certainly are. And that interview with KP was mostly about Bielsa after the game against Croatia, where he played out of his skin. got that assist. Thanks for mentioning that, Colin. Aren't we the luckiest fans to have Bielsa so long? From Lee, best manager in the Premiership, says John. Remember after Derby, and we weren't sure if he would do a second year. Wow, year 4 now. Love every minute from Lee Smith. Teletone Monkey, great show. Like being down the pub with mates. Well, thank you, Teletone. That's how it feels for us.
That's what we aim for, wasn't it? That's what. Do you know what we haven't got? It's Wednesday. We haven't got a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time.
Wow.
Did Rob get a final thoughts? Did we include Rob in the final thoughts?
You jumped in there, didn't you, Rob?
I think I just shouted, "I'm happy to be back." That's my contribution.
I hope he did, because it can't have been memorable if I forgot it.
I was going to say. No.
When I asked for final thoughts, and then someone says something, I would feel bad if I was to say any more.
Is that all you've got?
Is that all you got, mate?
Thanks for your contribution, mate. Yeah. Not coming back next week. No, it's good. It's been just buzzing to be back. I'm really happy to see you guys all doing well and everyone fit and healthy and back up and running and do the pods again. And it's a great situation. I'm really happy and can't wait for the season to begin.
Oh, question from Lee here. Are you covering the under-23s again?
I'm very up for it. Same as last year. I had such a good experience doing that. I think young Matty, who's obviously not here today, but he's finished his degree now, I think. So he'll be still doing the LUFC Academy stuff. He runs some accounts on Twitter and a website for his, or he did for his degree, for his qualifications and stuff. So he's now a qualified sports journalist of some capacity, and he's also said that he's up for it. So I think, we'll thrash out the particulars with the boss, Donny. But I think me and Matty are well up for doing some more in-depth 23s coverage this year. A new crop of youngsters.
To be fair to Matty, he's the only qualified one among us.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's better than what we've got.
We don't work on it was it Bob Marley saying we don't work on education, we work on inspiration. If I was educated, I'd be a damn fool. There you go.
I mean, I'm a joiner if that means anything.
Well,
joiner that doesn't like porter cabins.
Yeah, a joiner who hates people who live in porter cabins. You're finished on the building site. I'm
going to say I have my lunch in one every day, but yeah.
I know, yeah.
Nora's said, so amazing you guys are back.
Thanks, Nora.
Missed you all.
Bless you, man.
Too,
Thank
Nora.
you.
She was particularly happy, I have to say, that Ewan and Wardy were here. She didn't say anything about you, Rob.
Bless you, Nora.
I thought it was Phil Foden. I thought
Under 23s pod, we're not big enough to have a moderator like Nora. You would get that on the main cast, you see. We don't get this fancy technology on the under 23s.
Nora's my biggest.
Donny just gives us a tin can and a string, and we have to, me and Matty rattle it out between us.
Nora's my biggest fan after Donny's mum. Jen Marie.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you for why.
Okay,
that was it. So thank you so much, John, Teletone Monkey, Lee Smith, Colin Brooks, everybody for joining us in the chat. Can't mention all your names. Thanks to Rob. Thank you, Ewan. Thank you, Wardy.
Mate. No worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you healthy as well, Mr.
Donny.
Donny.
Yeah.
It's great to see you back, Donny, mate. You've been a source of inspiration throughout the lockdown, getting this going, and all the hard work you put in. So great to see you back, mate. And listen, is it worth telling the viewer, is it worth telling them about the new format? the new format for the Peacocks podcast? We're going to just on a Wednesday now, or is what's happening with that?
Good point, Ewan. Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Oh,
I'm the
transition now.
Despite the reputation, I'm the professional in the room, love. Now that is fucking worrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. That's what we're aiming for. So yeah, join us on YouTube, Facebook, the Adelaites Twitter, because I don't know how to link it to the Roaring Peacock Twitter, and on Twitch as well.
Nice. Not on Spotify.
Spotify, the podcast will be up again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this live stream to an audio and put it out on the podcast. So the podcast will be starting again if you don't like to see our pretty faces. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you very much.
I love it being on Spotify because all my heroes are on Spotify. Right, all my kids' heroes are on YouTube. All my heroes are on Spotify. So just to be on Spotify, I feel like I've made it.
You have, Ewan.
You're a rock star. Get it.
You've made it in my eyes, mate.
Thanks. That's all that counts to me.
Right.
Bless you.
We'll see you next week.
Love you, lads. Take care.